Before we get into the massive secret behind Waymo's robotaxi empire, do me a quick favor. If you're into the high-stakes games these tech giants play, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It seriously helps us dig up more stories just like this one. We've all been hearing the promises of a fully autonomous future for years, right? But while a lot of companies are still just talking a big game, Google's Waymo has been out there actually building it. We're talking a $126 billion robotaxi empire that's quietly taking over America. But there's a secret, a pretty big one actually, and it makes you wonder if these cars are really driverless at all. I mean, think about it. For what feels like an eternity, we've heard Elon Musk promise a fleet of Tesla robotaxis. But let's look at what's happening on the actual streets. While Tesla is still talking, Google's Waymo has been on a full-scale blitz, quietly launching their service in one city after another. They're not just promising the future, they are literally deploying it right now. So just how big is this operation? We're way past the early test markets of San Francisco and Phoenix. This is a massive, aggressive expansion. The goal? To lock down this market before anyone else even has a chance to get in the game. As of right now, Waymo is live and taking passengers in 10 major U.S. cities. And we're talking recent launches in huge markets like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Orlando. This isn't a pilot program anymore, folks. It's a full-blown commercial service. And that expansion is just fueling some insane growth. Get this, Waymo is now completing over 400,000 paid rides every single week. Just let that sink in. Hundreds of thousands of people are hailing a car that has nobody behind the wheel. It's kind of mind-blowing. But of course, they're not hitting the brakes there. Their publicly stated goal is to more than double what they're doing now and hit 1 million rides a week by the end of this year. This isn't just growth. This is hypergrowth, and it is designed for one thing: total domination. Now, to pull off an expansion this crazy, you basically need two things: a ridiculous amount of money and a really sophisticated fleet of vehicles. And, well, Waymo has both in spades. Let's talk about the money first. Waymo, which, remember, is owned by Google's parent company Alphabet, has this colossal valuation of $126 billion. That financial firepower means they can just soak up the massive costs of R&D and expansion, solidifying their spot as the undisputed king of the category. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. To handle 400,000 rides every week, you'd think they'd need a gigantic fleet, right? But Waymo is doing all of this with only about 3,000 cars. That points to a level of operational efficiency that is just off the charts. So what are these super efficient cars? Well, today, you'll mostly see their fleet of electric Jaguar I-Pace SUVs driving around. But you're going to want to keep an eye out for their next-generation vehicle. It's a custom-built electric car from Geely, designed from the ground up specifically for ride-hailing. So we have this dominant player. They're expanding like crazy. They've got unbelievable technology. It seems unstoppable. But this is where our story takes a pretty sharp turn. Because behind all the massive numbers and the sleek cars, there are some growing signs that the technology isn't quite as perfect as it looks. You see, as Waymo's cars become a more common sight, they are coming under some intense scrutiny from the government and from the public. And a series of pretty alarming incidents has started to reveal some potential cracks in their autonomous system. Now the federal government is officially involved. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, you know them as NHTSA, has launched a formal investigation. They're digging into incidents where cars just suddenly stopped during storms, causing gridlock, cases where the AI seemed to get totally confused by school buses and school zones. And the most alarming one, an incident where a Waymo vehicle actually struck a child at a low speed. And these kinds of incidents just pour fuel on the fire of public anxiety. I mean, this slide illustrates the uphill battle Waymo is facing perfectly. Despite all the progress, 6 out of every 10 American drivers are still afraid to share the road with these cars. Gaining public trust is still their biggest hurdle by far. So how does Waymo manage a fleet of 3,000 cars that are, let's be honest, still learning to handle the absolute chaos of reality? Well, this brings us to the company's biggest secret. It's a crucial part of their operation that they don't exactly advertise: a hidden human workforce. Meet the remote assistance worker. These are real people, human operators, sitting in command centers, and their entire job is to watch over the robotaxi fleet.
When a car runs into a situation that its AI just can't figure out, these workers are the fallback plan. They're the lifeline. The process is actually pretty simple. The car gets stuck, maybe it's a really confusing construction zone or some unusual traffic pattern. It just stops, and it phones home to a human. That operator then analyzes the situation using the car's sensors and gives it the guidance it needs to proceed safely. It's a human safety net.
But here's the detail that'll make your jaw drop: the scale of this human oversight. To monitor their entire fleet of 3,000 vehicles, Waymo employs a team of only about 70 remote workers. Yeah, you heard that right. That's roughly one person responsible for over 40 cars at once, acting as the final backstop for an operation doing hundreds of thousands of trips a week. And this reliance on remote humans has definitely caught the attention of lawmakers. U.S. senators are now formally demanding that Waymo come clean about just how often these driverless cars actually need a person to intervene. They're asking the big question: are these cars truly autonomous, or are they just really, really fancy remote-controlled cars? So, all of this reveals what the real battle is here. The robotaxi war isn't just about expanding to more cities or having the biggest fleet. No, the real challenge is something much, much more fundamental. The ultimate challenge, the real bottleneck, isn't engineering the hardware. It's solving for the infinite, unpredictable edge cases of reality. It's about building an AI that can handle a fallen tree, a complex police hand signal, or a flock of geese crossing the road, all without having to phone home for help. So as Waymo races towards that 1,000,000 rides a week goal, this is the fundamental question that hangs over everything. They are the undisputed king right now, for sure, but the ultimate winner of this whole race will be the company that first figures out how to truly cut that human cord. So I'll leave you with this. Who do you think that's going to be? Let me know in the comments.